My name is Fran Albers. I graduated here from the School of Organic Education in 1934. I went all the way from kindergarten all the way through the entire high school. After attending school here, I did go to the University of Wisconsin and graduated there in 1940. Since then, I've held a number of positions in industry, and I've retired in 1982. I'm what you might call a snowbird, because I come down here. I've been coming down here for 3 months for the past 6 or 7 years. Things I remember most about school for the athletic, I happened to play on just about every team we had. Football, basketball was my real sport that I like most, and also baseball. But also, I like to include the folk dancing in the area of sports, because this was a recreation that we all enjoyed. And we had, well, just looking at the Morris dancing costume, where I remember that very well. One of the first great experiences we had in the folk dance area was appearing at the Chicago World's Fair. It must have been around 1932 or 3, I think, around there. So yeah, that was before the folk dancing was introduced by the Globe Theater as a regular activity. But I appeared with a group up in Chicago, just from this school here, and we had a 1-week program up there. As far as athletics are concerned, I remember mostly Cummings Hall, and the basketball games we had there. Many times we'd have to come in and sweep the floor before we could start playing. And basketballs were at a premium in those days. We had one ball we saved for a game. We couldn't use that in practice. But the other aspect of the school that I liked was the arts and crafts and shop work. I think that things that we learned in the shop in arts and crafts have served us very well in later life. I still do a lot of woodworking. I've built a lot of things for my home and remodeled kitchens and things like that you wouldn't normally do, probably unless you had some background in the shop work. Of course, the educational program, I think one of the interesting aspects of it was the teachers we had, and the unique way that some of the teachers presented their subject and so forth. Bill before me spoke of the history teaching, and the way it was presented to us was a little different than most places. We had a great group of teachers because many of them came from different parts of the country because they were interested in the experiment that Mrs. Johnson was starting down here. But the other things about Fairhope that still attract me is first to the Bay town, and then all my friends that I still have down here, like Dot, and Dot's sister Helen, and C.L. Michon, George Ford. But that was probably one of the best experiences of my life, going through school here and enjoying the comradeship. We never had much money or anything like that. In fact, our class didn't even publish a yearbook because we didn't have enough money to finance it. So we were missing from the table of yearbooks there. What else, Doc?
No, I think you've just done a wonderful job of telling us about your school days. And I'm always impressed, Fran, how all of you on the tapes bring up the activities in school.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. Then we need to have more of that in the schools, more of the freedom of that. But then you are stressing also the academic part of it, which was very strong, wasn't it? And when you went to the University of Wisconsin, did you find that you had any problems with the new thinking of grades and exams?
Not really.
Pressures?
I had a year in between when I went to sea, worked my way around the world. I got a chance to probably mature a little bit more. And actually, I didn't have a lot of trouble at all. I graduated with honors and so forth, so that served me well. And well, in later life, I was in the service for 4 years, but I was one of the fortunate ones that stayed in his specialty. I was able to work in engineering work while I was in the service, and although I wanted to go to sea, I didn't get a chance. But anyway, anything that you learn here, you're able to adapt to life and the activities and so forth. But I think that I've had a very, what I have accomplished and so forth can be attributed in large part to the education I had here. Well, and I still enjoy seeing friends that I've seen before, like Hector here. I haven't seen Hector for years. And well, ran into Wendy Johnston the other day. Been sailing with him. So it's all been great to get to come back every year for 3 or 4 months.
Wendy's done a tape for us.
Yeah, I know. He told me.
Yes.
He told me he had a tape for it.
And excuse me just a minute. Dick, come on, sit down. Just close the door, honey, and if you will, just take a seat.
Okay.
We're running a little late today. Fran, another thing that I would like you to mention is something about your mother, because she co-authored that lovely little book, A Brief History of Baldwin County, with Lydia Cummings.
Yeah, that's right. She was a librarian for quite a few years, and she and Lydia Cummings wrote a book about the history of Baldwin County, I think they did. I have a copy up north, and there's a copy down here in the library too. But,
We also have it here.
You have it here? Good. My family didn't stick around. My father is buried in the cemetery up across from the complex, the community complex up there. So I spent some time cleaning out around his grave and so forth. But my mother was moved north too.
Well, we want you to come back full-time.
Full-time,
We're
yes.
sick of this
You know.
business of 3 months here and the rest of the time gone. So we're going to get you an hour here, Francis.
You know, Helen was telling me the same thing yesterday. I was talking to her again.